It's pretty cool. So right off the bat, Nero versus F maids. Like, okay. Just okay, F maids. Nutty characters. I'm trying to remember what specifically happened. Oh, okay. I have to point it out as I go along. That the spoilers if I tell you what happened. And so starting off, I guess I do have to point out that unlike Crescent maids, F maids functions fairly differently. Well, beyond the obvious, they have the bond meter thing for their moves, and they have more moves they can do for their assist, and you can position them. They function differently in the sense that you're more inclined to play them as a team because of that meter. And you're inclined to do it because one of the fastest ways to recover the meter is to just tag. And so after using your sister for like one attack, maybe two attacks, and you get a knockdown, or you put them into some sort of block stun, it's just really easy to tag. Especially since depending on what kind of block stun you have them in, you can't just have your sister regain her meter. They took that away a while ago because it was really dumb. That's different from Crescent maids, where you can play them as like a unit of a team, but you typically find them played as like, I'm playing Kohaku with a Hisui assist, or vice versa. So you typically start with Kohaku, and this is where you go into Hisui. Welcome to F maids, where craziness just happens. And that's actually a tag point if she wants it. But when you have somebody in the corner with F Hisui and the chair, you have a really strong position. And that's why F Nero just jumps out. You see a good old chair. And something about the chair, the chair is technically better than the stool, than H Hisui's stool, because it's actually tall enough for her to crouch under, where she can't actually crouch under a stool. Yeah, and that was just a case of Nero never really got a chance to play, and the one time he did, he hit a stool, or hit a chair, excuse me. Pushed his way out of an air unblockable scenario to start all this, and he actually gets some control. A good shield. And that right there, yeah, you know we gotta have like 5 million pauses in this. Even though he misses with this right here, which I kind of question if she'd have made him block it anyways. That's one of the huge benefits you get from F maids, and you don't really see it in this, but because you can make your sister move where you want her to, or you can make her run forward or run back to be more specific, it's very easy to get Hisui into positions where you can have her do chair from behind, and they have like no response to it. So that's one of the strengths of this character, of this team, if you will. You don't really see it there. But yeah, see, that's something you can do with maids that you can't do with anybody, or F maids that you can't do with like Crescent. You can just have them step up, and one of the benefits you get from that is whoever's running at them is just a moving hitbox. But it's F Nero's turn. Why he did that instead of Crow's, I don't know. Just expected her to be there and stay. All these Crows. And that little bit at the end with all the Crows is one of the disadvantages of playing maids. Because if that was F Kohaku by herself, Nero can't do that to F Kohaku. She just counters it. Actually opts to put her down and jumps into his shield. See, this Nero's kind of awkward, and it's kind of funny that she can do that anywhere. I love that combo. But this Nero's this specific Nero is kind of weird because he's Nero, but he wants to he constantly wants to forego all the range that he has, which he still has a range advantage over Kohaku. The only thing she could really contest him with at long range is 2C, maybe jump B, but he can reach around 2C with a jump C of his own, or a jump B, which has a lot more range than it may look. Like, it's still long, but it's long enough to really harass Kohaku. But jump B, if she wants to constantly jump up in the air, she's giving him all of the reason in the world to just take ground control with a bunch of different things. But what I wanted to point out was a little further back. Like, why? All the range in the world. He has her in the corner. And I mean, you don't want to go far enough to the point of where she's going to just start throwing Hisui at you, but you give her a chance to use something like a counter? And this right here, this is a gimmick, but it's kind of set up awkwardly, because what the gimmick is you can actually get a left-right from this based off of where you stand when you tag. You can take the corner from somebody when you tag. I guess since I have the handy dandy thing over there, I should show you this instead of just tell you. But yeah, you can take corners from people when you tag. So that's what she was going for. But the thing is, the timing from the cactus was a little too early. So Nero still would have been in block stun, in auto block stun. Wouldn't have really mattered. Good call on the burst. And this is actually a bad scenario for maids because it's Hisui on point right now and she doesn't have control. And it doesn't matter if she has Kohaku. That's Hisui versus Nero. That's it's pretty frustrating. She gets a chance though. This is a big chance. Actually makes a very wise decision with the IH. And it was just a simple IH. I don't know if she meant to do the sister call on purpose or not, because there's still a hitbox when you call your sister, but she was clearly out of range for that. And the 5C, the last full charge 5C, blocking one overhead isn't enough. So sad. So PS, the Nero switched to Crescent. I couldn't honestly tell you the difference between Crescent and full, other than preference. Like, I have to do more research into that. Do, Sate do. And I like what the Warakia did right there, because he saw the Nero coming in, like, looking for him to backdash away from it, so he just stepped under him. It just so happened that the Nero didn't go so far that he could chase him back into the corner. And this this is something I've seen this so many times. It's great. This is something you have to keep in mind when you're trying to heat against Nero, or really do any reversal at any point in time against Nero. The concept that he's the kind of character where even if you hit him, his screen control still exists. So you have to make sure you do it in a way that you can still block whatever he has on top of you, which looks like a good play from the Warakia until the deer hits him. And now it's like, not only did he lose the round, he lost all his meter. So this right here doesn't equate to too much, because he can't really keep him contained like you see. Remember what we were talking about yesterday about the Miyako who couldn't find the Warakia who did that? Neither did the Nero. This is a good use of meter. Because he just tapped into to max. So instead of going for the typical Nero setup, like a Do setup from Jump C, he just uses all the meter and keeps him down on the ground. Gets the same thing for like an extra K. And then he still has his meter if he needs it. Question is, will he get a chance to use it? Like so. Wasn't ready for it. Korewa. He already did the snake, by the way, if you blinked. You got to be like really mindful playing Nero when he lets go of a snake. You'll see everything else, but the situations where like he throws one thing out kind of as a distraction and then jumps somewhere afterwards, you got to consider, did he actually put a snake out somewhere in the middle of that? The Warakia didn't consider it at all. Didn't consider it too much, let me say it like that. But that 5C though. That 5C though. Speaking of Miyako's, this isn't the same one as yesterday. This isn't the second place winner. And you can see it by how this Miyako plays. Like, instead of like holding on, well, instead of playing from a longer range and just faking with the movement, she's really trying to land on top of him, like literally, which got her countered right there. But she's trying to stick him, and the Nero is doing a pretty good job of just like evading her angles. Quote unquote commentators curse. He was doing a pretty good job of evading her angles and just putting a lot of traffic in her face. Yeah, he didn't let that one rip because it wasn't a EX shield, but it was good that he had the mindset to hold it, and she can't run in that way. And this again. Oh man, this setup is nuts. I have to sit down and figure it out, to figure out how you actually stay in the corner or not. I think what it is it has to do with the drift out that she does right here. But she just all in. She threw all the cards on the table, all the chips on the table, going in with like 7 deuce offsuit. Couldn't find anybody. That's something I actually want to point out, because this is something you see a decent bit in like mid-level or higher. You see it specifically from people who actually know what the hell is going on and actually understand characters and don't want to run in and mash 2A all the time. This Miyako, she's really not doing much. She's sitting there blocking. But a lot of people wouldn't acknowledge the fact that she's waiting for her turn and she's blocking because she's not sitting there holding down back. So a lot of people wouldn't really read the intentions or the expectations of this player, and they would possibly give up what little room that they're giving her, which, I mean, I say that this Nero still winds up getting his 3C blown up, but he understands that like right here, he's still in control, and he understands that she doesn't really want to press anything, or else she'd have just dashed in and let the 2C rip by now. I do have to give this Miyako credit for waiting though, because it's kind of scary to sit there. Because whatever she wanted to do was going to take a dash in at that point. Yeah, you're right. Rest in peace, stubby, lowly limbs. She got it, though. With the hard knockdown. Jumps away from the dough. And that's the saddest thing you have to do. Whenever you get a starter on somebody with screen control like that, or like that, and you have to let it go. It's so disheartening. She tried to shield it and missed. And I like how she did a rising jump A there just to move around it. This Nero goes for shields a lot. Oh yeah. He's a shield fiend. He's taking pictures. Here we go. F Kohaku. But as you can kind of see already, that was a good air and block. That was really good air and block. And it's the kind of thing that when you have a scenario like this, if you kind of predict that they're going to try to chicken block this, or that they're even going to be there, you just have to go for it. You can't like react to this, not realistically. Excuse me, not unless it's higher up. But something like even this close to the ground, nah, you just go. But the thing I was going to point out about this F Kohaku is that this player seems like somebody told him, like just straight up told him what F Kohaku does, which is all you're going to do is you're going to sit around, you're going to poke at people, and occasionally you're going to put a plant or two out there. And he took it to heart. Because it's not that he does wrong stuff. In fact, when you see what happens and how he works around people, it's looking right. But it's just really weird compared to what you normally see from any other F Kohaku. Hey, there's the air unblockable scenario again, just the other side. It looks weird because everybody has this mindset in this game of wanting to go in at people and just hit buttons. Maybe not point blank, but you don't see stuff like that very often. Stuff like when you have somebody in a corner, you just make it to where it's really detrimental for stepping out. And I mean, it works very well in this matchup because Miyako can't really just fly out at will. But because of that, a lot of people would want to step in a little bit closer to her where you're still out of her range, but she can't move at all. Not this guy, not so much. And he missed an air unblockable right there. Made a good attempt at it. That was a bad guess. But bad guess that led in 4.7 in that counter. That's something else a lot of F Kohakus like to do, myself included. That was a good jump A. I like throwing the ground crescent instead of the air crescent, unless I just clearly see somebody in the air, especially after a 5C of any kind. Another good jump A. Like I was saying, that kind of goes back to what I was saying yesterday. You'll see this guy do a lot of jump A, or you see him doing a lot of jump A's rather. Because, I mean, with the way he plays, it really implies that if you want to stand right outside of jump B range and try to contest his jump B, like counter poke it or something, you'd be really successful if he threw it. So he just doesn't like that button too much. Slow plays a lot of stuff and holds on to his space. That was a good weight, although he couldn't get the conversion from that. Again, I don't entirely know why the side swap happens. I see a lot of Satsukis do that, but they do it, so they know what they're doing. Oh, this reminds me of something. Oh, man, I wish Hathara was here. Because I swear, dude. He misses, he whiffs the command throw horribly. And the thing about whiffing command throw with Crescent in full is that even if you grab somebody in the corner, you pull them one pixel out of the corner, right? So he just does a jump C. But what happens right here is he got the reverse air dash thing where, like, when you turn around behind somebody, or when you try to air dash behind somebody, like after you do a cross up, if you do it the first frame possible, you actually have to input it backwards. So I kind of wonder if he actually meant to air dash in the corner again to do a second overhead, or if he tried to do the half arrow setup. I kind of think he might have tried to do the half arrow. Sandori setup just looks different because instead of making it to where you have to block, well, it's still that you have to block it on the player one side, like block to the right, but you have all this time to really see it, and you have all this time to really get baited into the drift. Same concept, different outlook on it, different picture. Yeah, this guy is actually just content to using the right side of his stick. Bunch of C's, 5 C's, 2 C's, bunch of crescent slashes. Isn't perfect with his zoning though. That was a good, I want to say that was a good chicken block, but at the same time, I think the Satsuki could have picked that up with a 5A if she'd have guessed the chicken block was coming. And that's something else that's really good. Something else that's really solid is this spinning plant right here. After he gets fucked up and loses all his meter. Because he reacts to the jump. And so he knows that Satsuki can't jump again. So if she wants to come at him, she's got to air dash right now, or she's got to try to land and dash in with 2C. So he just lands and throws a plant and takes up all the space. Granted, I think she could have made it in time to stop the spinning plant. It's really scary. So she's got to, if she wants to move out of the corner, which she clearly does, she can't land next to Kohaku here. Kohaku's taking up all the space. And she looked for the air unblockable right there, couldn't find it. And this guy actually likes using 3C in his strings, which it seems awkward, but for the fact that he constantly pushes people out and he doesn't really go for stagger pressure, it makes sense. She actually stepped out of the corner. It didn't matter too much, but yeah, she actually stepped out of the corner right there. And just really good use of all the normals. Really only going to jump B when they're high above them. Constantly fishing for jump A. And he doesn't commit to too much behind the jump A. He doesn't commit to an entire string or anything. Just looking for the counter hits. Tried shielding the command throw. Raffle. Yeah. This is a less is more kind of guy. Caught the jump out. And I don't know. I didn't check this earlier. Oh, he totally could have. I don't know why he didn't put a plant here. Why he didn't put a spinning plant here. Especially since he liked spinning plants. Well, let me rephrase that. I don't know why, instead of doing that, he didn't do that to make him actually block the spinning plant. He just gets so much mileage out of jump A. Button is so good for him. Yo, what up, Jenny? That roll was too early on the Phew, that counter hit though. And I like that he got the double dash. I didn't actually think you can get a double dash from that. Oh, Christmas trees. Oh, Christmas trees. And that's something to note about this Kohaku, that when she misses something like a command throw, she immediately shields afterwards. It was a good anti-air. Yeah, she didn't want anything to do with that. But yeah, see, with all the work she's gotten out of slow playing so far, it's really hard to do it against the H-Roa. Which, again, that's another thing that's really easy for me to say, but the thing I like about this guy is he, for the most part, stays with his style. Now, this was hilarious. This is hilarious. I remember this. Because I don't know how genius this Roa is by doing this. And it's kind of, well, it's not questionable. It's unfortunate that he still got tagged. But for this random Johnny that gets thrown, he does something that's so good. Because he doesn't have to sit here and block it, obviously, and he doesn't have to block anything, when he gets up, the first thing he does is he super jumps at her. Like, that's easy to see. And if she knew that he was going to jump all the way in and press a button, she's like 10 years too early, right? Kicks her in the mouth for it. Now, instead of landing and like continuing his pressure here or continuing the combo here, he jumps. But instead of air dashing back immediately, he waits until Johnny sprouted. And that's because it's going to shoot to whichever side you're on when his head sprouts. So by waiting, the Roa is making it shoot back at Kohaku, leaving him with all the space to the left. It's just really smart and good character knowledge about how that works. Can I explain made pairs and individual made? Yeah, the difference is, in short, I'll do this real quick, because there's actually like a decent bit to it, but I can give you the gist of it. This one's easier to show you. So aside from like stat changes that happen, because there's subtle stat changes that happen, when you play them by themselves, they have their entire moveset, right? They have their entire moveset. They have all of their normals, so on and so forth. When you play them as a pair, sometimes you lose some of their command normals, but you always lose their quarter circle back, and it turns into an assist. See, where Hisui normally would throw stuff for her quarter circle back, when she has Kohaku do different assists, which for the most part was conveniently throwing stuff, but there's some that isn't. It also changes from phase to phase what their assists are. Like, I just showed you them in Crescent. In Full Moon, it's even more different, but that's the gist of it. You effectively lose a move and you get an assist for it. Depending on what phase it is, you might also lose some command normals as well. So like for this Full Moon Kohaku player, for example, since I guess I'm mentioning all this, these are actually two completely different characters. Like, it's one thing that Full Moon maids just function completely different from maids in general because of this meter. I don't think you can see my cursor up here, but they function differently because of that meter up there, the heart meter, which dictates how many specials you can actually have your sister do before you have to recharge it. But it also changes like stuff such as, while she has her command normals, the pair version does not. so on and so forth. Tier wise, I wouldn't go super as far as to say individual is better. I can think of scenarios where I would actually want to play. Let me back up. Let me be specific, since you're gonna ask that. It depends on what phase you want to play, but if you're talking Crescent, which conveniently works out to be better, I can think of reasons why you'd want to play either or. Because if you play Crescent Kohaku, you actually get you get her 6C, which is pretty useful in pressure. It does a little bit for combos, but it's useful in pressure. If you play them as a pair, you have, if nothing else, a hitbox that you can put in front of yourself, and assist that you can do in the air to change your momentum. Although you do lose her 6C. So it's not just really a cut and dry, like this works better than the other one. Not for the practical sense. Now there's impractical ones, like if you talk about H-Mage, which I don't know why you'd ever play H-Mage instead of their individual ones. But for Crescent, which is where you typically talk about individual versus the pair, I'd really argue that it's preference. I was debating on if I wanted to show some examples, but I really don't. You play H-Mage. I don't know why you'd ever play H-Mage. Like, I really don't know why you would ever play H-Mage. H-Mage. Because, like, Hisui, it really isn't the worst in the world if you never planned on throwing stuff anyways. But if that was the case, and you can do Yayas, why would you play H when you can play C? And then if you talk about Kohaku, why would you lose your command throw? Like, it's really weird to me. Like, if they still had their C assist, I could totally see why you'd play H-Mage. But it turns into 6AAA, and I'm like, I don't really know about that. I'd much rather have, like, Hisui's overhead. That's me, though. You didn't want to interrupt. Oh, you totally derailed it. And you derailed me in the middle of a good point I wanted to make. It's alright. That's what all this is for anyways. Questions, analysis, and commentary. Ha ha ha. I had to remember what I was talking about over here, which was after this Johnny, and he makes Johnny shoot the wrong way. I get what he was going for. Is he just did it late. He was trying to avoid that. I'm pretty sure. If he wasn't trying to avoid a 5C, full charge 5C, he was trying to stay above a 2C, which 2C still would have hit him at that range, because the end of 2C has a higher hitbox. Either way, it's unfortunate what happened. And that drag down. And it's kind of cool she got the jump C over the lightning, because she's seen him throw the lightning at that range a couple times already, especially looking for jump outs and stuff. So I don't know whether to call it a read or just a guess, but it was good looks. I'm surprised she didn't overrun that, because that was a good guess at a tech. And the reason why, in my mind, this is a good guess at a tech is because she's already shown that she's willing to or she's already shown that she's going to try to air dash sometimes to punish a far tech or take the left right. And she's also shown that she's willing to throw a plant expecting no tech. So I don't fault him for doing this, and I think it's crazy that she didn't overrun this. Like, she's clearly in the middle of her 2A, but just to have the heads up to stop and throw the 2A out there is it's kind of impressive to me. Like 3 out of 10 on the impressive scale. That's standard burst procedure, but it's still Roa's turn. It's always Roa's turn. Doesn't matter what row it is. And see, there you go. That was so retarded. Oh, this is so retarded. Oh, man. Like, I don't know why he didn't tech in the air. I don't know why he didn't tech in the air. And then he techs away, and he clearly sees her throwing a plant. I have to assume he didn't know where the plant was going, but that's so sad. Yeah, he almost died for that. Yeah, that's not invincible till you start moving, so it's an unfortunate series of events in the end. Yeah, just based off of how this Kohaku plays, this already just doesn't sound good for this Koma. Because, yeah, he has to deal with all of that. Fucking H-rolls and the brain dead teleport. I know, right? Yeah, this 5C, 5C, 2C, like, this is the kind of thing where I'm not going to sit here and say, like, how this could or how this should work on paper. This is the kind of thing to where, or this is the kind of matchup to where this F Kohaku's playstyle just seems like it'd do really well for him. Except for the part where he gets hit. Still playing Melty Blood though, so no qualms with pressing 2A. And so she learns this guy right here. That was another funny part. It was a good idea though, a really good idea. That was just 50-50 hit or throw. But he didn't have the meter to bunker out or use or do anything, so really bad scenario. And see, she's not even looking for counter. His just pressing 5C just to push herself back. By the way, she's either neutral or -1 when she 5Cs, which is why Koma's not trying to press a button back or dash in at it. I mean, he reached over her. He clearly reached over her, but and I think she could have picked it up even after she jumped back like that, because she jumped just to kind of protect herself from if it clashed. And Johnny fucks this up. This Johnny happy Kohaku right here. Yeah, it's looking pretty bad for this Koma. It's not his fault. It's this character and the way he plays. C Kohaku exists, therefore C Kohaku is the choice. This is a habit to pick up on. This is a habit to look out for. And a lot of people do this. They don't do it all the time, but a lot of people do this. I do this somewhat. I blame for this Arcana Heart. Where I don't want to say you're flat out trying to do this, because it's not always the same logic for why people do it, but it looks the same regardless, and you kind of wind up with the same result, where you're effectively trying to anti-air with 2A. And it's one of those anticipation anti-airs where you're expecting somebody to land like right next to you. You don't expect to hit him in the air, and you don't really want to hit him in the air, obviously, but you just take a huge risk and you throw out a hitbox that's effectively on the ground, and you hope they don't land on top of you, which didn't work out in that guy's favor. How this Kohaku had the nerve to confirm into like 5C, 3C from that jump C, I don't know. I don't know. Stag City. There's Crescent Kohaku, and Crescent Kohaku is always the choice. Ella giggle. She cut that short. She could have got a light rep after that. Doesn't matter. F Kohaku doesn't care. She still got her 2A. Johnny again. And this is a tech flub to kind of pick up on people. This is something I haven't told my friends about this in a while, but this is something I mentioned a long time ago. Like, if Mr. Annual's still here, this is something I missed in the Swaga years ago. Is like when you play anybody, when you see something random like this, you can get some information if you understand what was actually supposed to happen. Like this, the F Kohaku fucked up. But the thing is, unless this Kohaku is so next level, she fucked up making a read that didn't happen. And the read was she was looking for a jump out and was going to air throw it. So at the end of the day, that means that sometimes if you sit there and wait in the corner, she's going to jump. But the point I'm making is that a lot of people don't even acknowledge that's what she was intending. They just look at it as she jumped, she shielded, and nothing was there. She must have tried to make the hardest read on what? On like a jump A, like a jump out jump A? The C Kohaku hasn't done that yet. So yeah, one thing you can really get out of players is like in the rare event, or in the event that they do it and they fuck something up, understanding what their fuck up actually is. I also don't think I've ever seen any players throw so many Johnny. Dude, I'm pretty sure this F Kohaku is addicted to Johnny. They're best friends. She's actually May, man. And that's the power of C Kohaku. I messed up, but I hit you. Therefore, you're in a setup, whether you like it or not. And I don't know if she could have got more from that, but since she picked it up from the plant, that's pretty safe ender to go with. And they're doing Kohaku things with spacing until this poor F Kohaku got caught throwing out 2C. That still would have just pushed Crescent Kohaku out. No roll zone. And she was actually looking for the tech in. Ka-king. I was looking at something, sorry. I found this interesting. And I know why this I think I know why this happened. I can justify why this happened. It just seemed somewhat awkward to me for the scenario. So, counter hit jump B, right? It's a pretty decent start. It's a pretty good start. It's a counter hit and it's not a jump A, right? She confirms all the way down to a launcher. Sure, she did a double slash launcher, a 236A, 236B, which adds a decent amount of gravity. But it's still like a good confirmed good launcher nonetheless. Goes into jump C, air dash CB, which adds some more gravity, but still, she lands and she just 2Cs. Let's just forget that she misses the 2C and it's invalid. She just 2Cs and she plants. She actually could have did a full, like one more full rep of her combo, one more full string. even if she didn't want a full string, she could have built a little meter with like 2C, 2C, 5C, 236B. But she cuts it off right here. And she cuts it off, in my opinion, because F Kohaku has the meter to burst. Now, the question I have is, could she actually burst this? Because if she was thinking of the burst, I wonder if it was possible for her to do the, I don't know what it's called, the Bato launcher loop? The one where you do 236BA and launch him with the broom? Just to keep it burst proof, you know? Something that crossed my mind when I saw this. Speaking of being addicted to Johnny, and she did good to push her down back into Johnny and take control of everything. King. The guy hit with the classic. The empty jump low. The Smash Bros would call that the tomahawk. And what honestly shocked me, the first time I saw this, I actually had this F Kohaku dead right here, because the first time she was in this scenario, she tried something, and it's like, you can't move here. And even if you want to move, like you think they're not gonna close it out, it's really hard to move because the spinning plant has it doesn't have a really thin hitbox on the ground. It has enough to catch you jumping out. So if she messes up and she tries to jump out and she gets caught, she's dead to air unblockable. But with all the times this guy's woken up and done something, all the times he's woken up and pressing buttons, all the times he's woken up and tried to move out of this setup, he actually stayed there and gets his bunker and the 2B, but it's not enough. Scramble City. You wonder if you've seen more 2-2Bs or Johnnies? I honestly wouldn't be surprised if the answer was Johnny. It's honestly 2-2B because this F Kohaku likes throwing 2-2B in neutral. She doesn't do it often, but she'll actually do it. The one where it's like, I'm gonna throw this and you better not land here. So with that alone, I'm pretty sure she's throwing more spinning plants. But yo, it's the god. TG Roa. Let's hold that 50-50 because I felt like it. It's like, I don't know if this Kohaku's had nightmares with Roas, but like in the first round you saw her try to counter lightning pillars a couple times. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I've ever played a Crescent Roa, but that just doesn't seem like a good guess I'd want to make. Especially just one randomly in neutral. Especially if you're trying to throw 100 meter at it, like so. And he actually dumped 200 meter into it, even though it was max meter. It just doesn't seem like a good game-winning strategy. Got hit with the Street Fighter jump back in the corner, jump C. That's GG. Get out of here. Yo, what up, Big Rig? Oh, this match right here. This match has a really hard read that I have to point out. And actually, I learned something that I'd never seen or nobody ever mentioned before, but I don't really know a whole lot about Nania. And that's something I want to note. Where this matchup looks really hard. I mean, I've never played this matchup. I've never seen this matchup. But this lightning roll thing right here looks like it makes this match a nightmare for Nania. Because, sure, by default, you normally don't you can't just jump in the air against Roa when he puts out a full charge lightning, whatever they're called, like lightning beacons, lightning rolls. They're not columns. Columns go up and down. But you can't stay in the air because the full charge ones are air unblockable. However, Nania has a full screen teleport to go behind people. It's not the fastest in the world. It's not instant. You can see it. You can't, I don't want to say you can just react to it automatically, but it's perfectly reasonable to react to it. It still gets taken off the table by this alone. So as long as Roa's sitting under or close to this lightning thing right here, it just seems like a struggle, right? Which is what he does. You try to walk in at him, you're walking into like 50-50s at will. But he gets a chance. And he doesn't want to let him set another one. He actually has the mindset to try to shield that on reaction. This combo's so good. Wasn't the hardest thing ever, wasn't the flashiest thing ever, but it's just good confirm. I just like it. See, I don't know why he went back. I really don't know why he went back. The Nania, that is. Because then he has to deal with all this. Another thing to note about the lightning thingies, those, if you haven't noticed, is that they, even if you cross them up, they turn around. Sorry, I still have this sold in my system. And this is the craziness right here. Like, look at this read. He does 2-2-C, alright? He doesn't let the top one rip. He does 2-2-C. And the part where this turns into a crazy read is the fact that he knows that Nania can actually choose where he goes in this area. Like, it's not just a teleport that goes above the person over their head. Oh, well. Let me not have mage so you can see my target. It's not just a teleport that goes behind them over their heads, right? You can actually choose if you go in front of them, a little bit lower, higher. You actually have a little bit of control over that. So this 2C was a hard read on him teleporting in front. Not so much teleporting in, but teleporting in front. Although, in all honesty, even if he would have guessed wrong, he's still sitting on almost max. So there wouldn't have been a lot of harm done. There wouldn't have been like a complete momentum swing. Not for free. Not without a read on a burst. But that's just kind of nuts to me. And then he starts doing Roa things where he confirms off of like every bit of electricity known to man. And if I was this Donnie, I'd be highly upset with life right now. But that's Roa. That is the Roa we know. And then we get, with the right timing, I don't know. If he waited for it, I think it would. Like, actually it would. But that's round one. I ain't trying to see round one. What happens if he's teleporting behind at this point? Because unless I'm about to learn something new, that lightning doesn't track. Just do it. Wait, I have Shiki. I'm an idiot. They both look the same. Whoops. Hey, if this shit autocorrects, I'm about to learn something, which is why I don't call this just straight analysis. I'm perfectly fine with being a fraud, all in the sake of knowledge. Oh. Yeah, if he does it late enough, but by the, like, he had already started it by the time he teleported. Like, he might have just jumped the gun and it just so happened that Inani had teleported in front of him. That's entirely possible as well. But the planets aligned. Is he always... I am curious about something though. And I actually think he has to wait for it to test with lightning charges. Okay. I don't need that many. Whoops. I actually don't even think he had a charge, because if I remember correctly, he never sat on a charge the entire game. Like, he got one for the combo in the first round. Full charge. What is full? Oh shit, it's 9. I'm curious now. Yeah, that one tracks. Does it start tracking at 7? Yeah, 7 is the one that starts tracking, right? Yeah. And then 6 is the only one that breaks. And then I forget what 4 does. Yeah, it starts tracking at 7. 6 is the only one that breaks. I forget why, but you don't ever want more than 4. At the end of the day, it wasn't like this. It wasn't like this decided the match. I just thought it was really cool how it panned out, and I'm still a believer that whether he did it by intent or accident, he was looking for this. Whether he actually meant for it to autocorrect and he just did it too early, that's also a question, but it panned out in his favor. And he gets to do more cool roll stuff because I'm amazing. I'm damn lightning Jesus. Perfectly capable of blowing people up with one charge at any point. Agree. Again, I've never played against a Roa, C Roa, and like I agree, shit looks nuts. So the standard issue, Half Moon, mthis, and that was an Aaron blockable, their first hit rather. And this is something I wish Blackstar was in here for, just so he could watch this. Who will stop the C-Roll monster? You don't want to know the answer to that. Because I do like this mthis choices of movement, even though she got lit up. She spent a lot of the time making sure that she was above the lightning. I'm calling them pillars. I don't care anymore. She was above the lightning pillars, even if it meant double jumping over them, just so they wouldn't completely deter her from moving around. And she got a lot of worth out of it. She also doesn't really care too much of them in general, because if he's not going to do it full screen, like you saw when she came in, she's just going to run through him anyways. Because even though they're like 2/3 of the screen, and even though they're relatively quick, or they're pretty quick on activation, she's quick in her movement, so have fun stopping her coming in. This role is trying. Tilly tried to do right here. Tilly tried to do that. The anti-air 2A. Maybe the Sea Aoko of my hopes and dreams will come and stop him. Hey, man. Hey, man. It's possible. Keep hope alive. I like how she's not just chasing him down, but she's not going so far away to let him set up all of his lightning pillars and stuff. Good shield, because you can shield out on reaction after the super flash, or in response to the super flash, if you want to say it like this. Oh, this is just funny right here. Like I want so much control. I'm Roa. I'm supposed to rule everything, but I can't swat this fucking fly. And she just kind of sits there, like she's even losing, but she just kind of sits there. It's like, all right. I mean, you're gonna put one up there on the top. You can't put any more. So now that you've had your fun, let's see if you're willing to actually death them. Which he had to take a read here. That's what this was. This is a subtle 50-50. A low-key 50-50, if you will. A 50-50 of, is she gonna air dash again, or is she gonna land air dash low, be in the range of the standing height pillar? And he 50-50 wrong. So now there is a mthis in his face. Yo, what up, Hatharo? Yo, you missed it earlier, dude. There's an FCO Haku in here, and I think she tried to do the Hatharo setup. I swear she did. She probably didn't, but I swear she did. The fear. Hey, you guys, we're talking about Roa, right? You ever seen a Roa so scared for his life? You ever seen a Roa so scared for his life? Like, he's got all the space in the world. He's got all the room in the world. But nah, he's perfectly content for trying to weather this onslaught. The fear. Who's gonna take down this monster? Crescent Roa? How about a bigger monster? She's not a bigger monster. She is a monster though. It's the movement. And it's not like she does the most amazing things in neutral, in my opinion, but it's the fact that she's varied in where she goes, and the fact that she's constantly being a threat. She's not sitting there like just running headstrong into people, but she's always representing it. And since she represents it, and she's constantly giving people a moving target, when they try to go for it, that's when she finds a way in, even if she finds it in on block. Because this entire round was like decided right here. And the Nero didn't make a bad choice, not at all. Like, she's full screen. You have time to react to this. It's perfectly reasonable to assume she's gonna land, or she's gonna be in a range to or she's gonna be in the spacing to get hit by 5B. I mean, sure, you might not always want to make this one, but I mean, what other things could happen in this scenario? He could, the Nero could try to take up the same space with jump C, which if she didn't jump, now he's screwed. He could try to double jump at her and do something, which that would have been the right answer, but does he actually know that? Does he really want to commit to a double jump or a super jump? He could have called her bluff and said she's not actually coming in and took some screen control with like a snake or something like that. You don't know, so he just took a guess. Again, it wasn't a bad guess. Perfectly reasonable guess. Kind of slow on the guess, but perfectly reasonable nonetheless. And guessed wrong. It doesn't matter that she didn't hit him. Him dropping the combo was clearly also the death of him. And it wasn't so much that he dropped the combo, but it was the way he dropped it. Which was dropped it whiffing the 2C. If he'd have dropped it whiffing the 2A, he wouldn't be in this scenario as well. Subtle details. It's a 50-50. That's not his fault. I guess technically that was 33s, but he's in a bad spot. Off of one mistake and one bad call. Is she gonna face F Hime next? You never know, man. Trying to keep this spoiler free. The things you have to do when you have characters that just, they have persistent screen control. I'm trying to think of something witty to say, but there really isn't anything witty to say beyond she's pretty smart. She's pretty smart. Just make sure to keep it as short as possible. Actually, it could have technically been shorter. It could have been 2A, 2C. But get as much as you can, which is get the knockdown, the waste of time. And the knockdown is really important. Because if she'd have just 2A'd and jumped away, she still could have got chased down. But she gets the knockdown. She jumped back just to get the most space from the deer possible. And just ran around the deer. And another thing, she didn't even move, she didn't double air dash away. She didn't double jump and double air dash. She knew she had the time, and this is some experience. She knew she had the time to land right here, backdash, and then jump again. This way, even though there's still a deer charge, I think there's a deer charge left. Even with anything that could come behind this on this half of the screen, she now has all of her movement options back. As opposed to a lot of people would have did like a double air dash or like a super jump in an air dash, and they'd be landing like right about now. And so they'd have to deal with a Nero possibly trying to super jump C and keep them grounded. kind of like what happened anyways. And at least she had the option to dash under it if she wanted to. Good chase. Hey. Hey. And that was really smart right there. Meter management. Because she was about to hit heat. But why not keep it for a rainy day? Why not keep your 100 meter and not dump all of it? So in the event that something goes wrong, you can have a bunker. Or you can just use it here, keep them in control, and as long as everything works out, it'll still be okay. Yeah, that's how he has to come off his meter. That was... Tell me that's not nuts. Tell me that's not nuts. The part where I said she didn't really do like any crazy movement stuff, that's where I lied. She wants this so bad. She wants this so bad, but she can't take it. So she just makes sure to waste the deer time. Gets away so she doesn't have to block the deer. Because she shouldn't have got hit. Like, it would have been so bad for her to get hit. Like, not bad as in, oh, woe is this HVACC player, but how did you actually get hit with that caliber, with the caliber of player that you seem to be? But she wastes his time, wastes the deer's time. Not only does she get away, but it's either like the presence of mind for this 2C whiff or just the nerve to come back in over this deer knowing that it's going to buck right here and come in again. Like, that's just somebody who plays this game too damn much. That's a good problem to have. I can also chalk it up. I know you said this a while ago. I can chalk it up to mthis as air dash. That is true. That is true, but it's the fact that she's using her air dash like ridiculously well. All the Neros in the world. And all of them so mad they got to deal with this mthis. Hey. Hey. This is another I wish Black Star was here moment. Because this choice right here, I don't know how much experience this Nero player has against this HVACC in general. I don't know how much experience this Nero has against HVACC altogether. I don't know if he sat there and he watched her play. I don't know if anything fueled this decision. But I think it's a really good choice to instead of doing like jump C into sludge or a snake or something like that, to put her on the fucking ground. And I mean, this isn't the most like, this isn't like some new philosophical discovery or anything. This is actually a very common practice in a game where characters have a lot of mobility. But it's one of those things to where when given the option and you look at the pros and cons of what you get from either route that you go, a lot of the pros you get from leaving her up in the air would be you get to set up your own ground and you make it hazardous for us to land there. A lot of people would still take that, even though all you're doing is you're letting this bat fly free. But this dude actually takes, I don't want to say it's a risk, but he takes what's usually considered the less appealing path. And I think it's a really good call. Except for, don't ask me why the hell he did that. Maybe he was looking for a DP. But yeah, let's not talk about that dash, all right? We ain't in here for that dash. Did I get raided? What? Oh. Where are the Hisuis? Hisuis don't exist. Actually, you missed the Hisui in the beginning because there was F maids. The spacing. This is another thing. This is something I'm just gonna say for Blackstar, even though he's not here. Since he's learning Nero, you throw the crows. You actually got to do something to stop somebody from going this way, which is not a huge deterrent to mthis. She can just dance around up here if she wants, but she ain't coming in this way. She ain't coming in the front door. She also wasn't getting out that way, come to find out. My pronunciation of Hisui. Hey man, I'm a black guy who spent over half his life in the South. I'm not Japanese. Then I didn't learn. I didn't actually learn the pronunciation of Japanese until recently. Oh, I gotta go back and point that out. Because the greatest steal of the world. Greatest steal of the world. The greatest timer scam of the world. And she set it up. I don't need to go. Stop right here. Start right here. She sets this up so well. Because she takes a chance. She really doesn't have that much time left, obviously. And she doesn't know he's gonna whiff 5B right there. She just takes a stab. Stops him from trying to move specifically, like looking for a jump out. But when she gets this hit, instead of immediately going like 5A, 5B, 5C, you're committing all the way down to 5A, 5B, 5C, which it probably still would have worked out, but it's questionable. She just hammers out 5As. Again, you can also chalk that up to she's looking for a jump out, so she was just going to hammer 5As anyways. But because she does 3 5As to start this off, she immediately gets the heat when she 5Bs. And even though Aki is probably like the richest person in all of Tsukihime, she just robbed this poor Nero blind. Actually, I think I remember how she set that up. Because this is something I really wanted to point out. Was it... I know I got distracted in my talking earlier. Not that far. Because I want to say... Oh yeah, right here. Where instead of trying to drag that out as long as possible, she cuts it short so she doesn't pop heat. And it's like, so why not just take the heat right there anyways? Well, it's not the best scenario for her. It's still okay, but I kind of think she, in her mind, possibly just conceded the round at that point and was like, I'm just gonna ride this out as is and try to set up for the next round. And if something happens, then it's just a miracle. But she could have taken more meter at that point, and she doesn't. And just so happens, because she didn't just flat out quit like people who can't ever make perfects or comebacks tend to do, she set herself up to be in a position to make a comeback. And hey, here we go. Round 2. mthis has the first point and is blocking overheads like a champ. You would have gone for the heat off the combo. I don't blame you. I don't blame you, because when I first saw it, I was like, I kind of wonder why she didn't. But I was like, maybe she didn't because she was trying to save it for next round. Like, it seems reasonable, like, going around starting with a heat so that you immediately start off with a weight in there, and Nero has to think about how he gets you off. But shit, the planets align. She's like, fuck it, I'm going in. I was reading chat. Because that Nero just he buckled. It's like, man, got away with murder, took everything I had nothing left, and just laid it down. I don't want to go that far back. All the times we're talking about mobility, MBAACC, mobility. She gets a taste of her own medicine from a guy that has 1.5 dashes. It's technically 2. It's command dash though. Oh, I guess I'll go back and look at that because you mentioned it. Stuff like this makes me wonder if I should stream on Hitbox, so I get like faster responses. That was a good reaction to the shield bunker. I think it happens right here. The question being, why did he jump C after air throwing, or instead of air throwing after the crows? It's a little further back. Watch the robbery again. I'm sorry I took your C-War away from you. You're gonna see him. You're gonna see it. I'm not skipping anything. I'm not a skipper. Only thing I do is just skip around some videos. And now I'm curious what you where you were talking about. It's like this isn't too long anyways. Just getting some space. Chicken blocking, and lucky he didn't get Aaron blocked for that chicken block. Oh, that one. Actually, okay, I can explain this. Why did he jump C instead of air throw? Hindsight's 20/20. Because by the time she actually shields it, he's already committed to jump seeing. And he's not literally committed to jump seeing like to the frame, but he has it in his mind that he's going to jump C. So because she shields it at like the last possible second, he can't react to it. And yo, hitboxes, there are actually hurt boxes on Nero's jump C. And if I remember correctly, the hurt boxes reach to where the hitboxes is. They might even go further. Guess what? We're about to find out. Frame display. Frame display. Open. Don't you do this to me. Cool. Let me put it over here. That'd be better. We have technology. F Nero doing jump C. Horror. Like hit boxes. Wait. Collision boxes. No, not collision boxes. Attack boxes. That's what they're called on here. Like, yeah, that actually reaches pretty far out. So it's not crazy that he got hit for it. It seems crazy that he would do it, but again, it's easy to say this in hindsight. When you see it in speed, it's perfectly reasonable. Especially when you consider that at this point she's already cleared him, right? Like, she could double jump again, be out, and be free. So, reacting to the call of her going back down to the crows and shielding there, that's, like, not the first thing that would cross anybody's mind to begin with. Yo, Arcana Heart? Somebody said Arcana in here? Yeah. Everyone shields crows. If she'd have jumped like straight into the crows, I'd have been like, huh, I wonder why you didn't think she was gonna try to shield it. But I honestly think that for where she was and the fact that she was like past the crows, he didn't expect her to just go back into them like that. I don't know, I'm reading the chat. I'm not watching this poor Akia. Well, I can't say this poor Akia anymore. Momiji Lupa. Do I need to go back and look at the Nero shield? Because I will. This Wara isn't 2Bing enough. This Wara is not living enough. Don't ever let anybody tell you that all Japanese players are omnipresent and they successfully bait every burst. Don't let anybody tell you that. Because they don't. I mean, everything in the world says that this Wara should have bursted here. But he's like me. He's like, well, I've lost this round. So if you're going to kill me, kill me. If not, I'm going to keep my burst, and you're going to look like an idiot. Oh, the one that he up back. I mentioned it briefly the second time I went over there, or went back through it. I didn't mention it the first time because I didn't see it. I was reading the chat. But you're talking about, where am I at? 3344. I think I can remember that. You're talking about, yeah, we're taking a trip again, guys. You're talking about... Is it at the end of this one? Did they ever switch sides? Yeah. Is it that one? It's not that one. Alright. No, it is. Right here. Yeah. She up backed it. Good reaction. I didn't make a big deal about it, but yeah. Hit a shield. Had the presence of mind and the reaction be like, that's a shield. Up back. You can do that to shields. You can do that to shield counters. You can do that to 8 shield counters as well. This is unfortunate. Like, I don't know if he meant to do it on purpose. I'm pretty sure the answer is no, but it's kind of unfortunate that he dashed to the end of that and it scared him into this, but it happens. And there's your 2B, by the way. There's that 2B you wanted so much. I get that backdash flag down. That backdash sounded like such a good idea. Baited like a fish. Like I have to, because it's so clean. It's so clean. The power of mthis. A silky smooth. And then had the meter to bunker away from the meaty drill. No, don't go anywhere. And then this is the worst case scenario for her, or for Warakia, because he pretty much has to find this heat right here, this heat activation, because if he doesn't, she's gonna be in heat. So if he somehow makes it out of this, he can't really throw a lot of stuff at her, or he has to be really mindful of what he throws at her, because she's gonna burst. So he tries to shield. I thought you said, can we stop this? My bad. Show Spire. Who's Spire? One of your homies? Show him how literally everything comes from 2B. 2B or not to be? That is the question. Yo, that teach me how to Dogi. Some Dogi tactics right here. Yo, Mr. Annual will tell you this. Who is this right here, man? Who is this right here? Don't have to be a command throw. I just decided to throw you. I'm gonna throw you again. I would have did it a third time. I'd have did it a third time. So this Coma is tired of watching his team get slaughtered. Surprise. You thought I actually cared about the left-right. You're wrong. This right here. This right here. So he puts on the armor, right? So the first thing that does is it makes it to where you don't really want to press buttons back, because I mean you're not gonna knock them away from you. But yeah, you saw the second purpose that this served. She's in heat, so it's like you're gonna sit here and block this, and if you try anything funny that involves you getting hit, I'm just taking the burst. Now, mind you, wait. No, because he did a command throw. Mind you, my bad. I know that was loud as fuck. He hits her, right? And I think he clipped her out of the back dash, which... I know she back dash. I don't know if she got hit out of the back dash frames, which... No, he hits her on the ground. I don't know if you're airborne when you get hit, but he hits her on the ground in heat. You can't punish that. You can't punish a heat burst, right? So, even though he tanks it, she's in a 50-50, and she still got grabbed. She still got grabbed. But the thing I kind of wonder is I kind of wonder if he actually did an air grab here. That's the thing that I'd have to be able to break the video down frame by frame to see. You're airborne from a backdash. That's something I could check. Hatharo told you to sit your ass down. You're damn right. Don't come in here acting like you know Melty. Get the fuck out of here. Wait, let me do it like this. Because what I think happened, like, yeah, she's in the air, and you can hit her in air frames. I missed the frame. She actually did get caught in the air. It looks so close to her being on the ground. Like, it's really hard to tell, especially when you're talking about Japanese quality videos and everything. It's really hard to tell. At the end of the day, all that really matters is this genius put on the armor. It was like, I don't really care about your circuit spark. Oh. Shout out to yesterday, where I was talking about the Miyako in the white Lin at the end, and being in the same scenario, and the two different outlooks in the same scenario, where some people would look at this scenario and be like, you just got punished, and you just got like read like a book and punished pretty severely, like mentally severely, for backdashing, right? You got 2-8 out of your backdash, which doesn't sound bad by itself, but you automatically bursted. Like, you didn't have a say in that. But he knew that was going to happen, had the armor up, and then he threw you out of it. So you're in this scenario again. Even though he doesn't have armor and you don't have burst, you shouldn't backdash. That's what some people would say. Other people say, you're in the same scenario. You have all of the options you had before. He's not taking any options off the table. That includes backdash. So you could backdash again if you wanted to. And she wanted to. And she actually avoided the jump C. But avoiding the jump C isn't enough. Okay. This is where I started to laugh. This motherfucker is back. 2-2C the guy. Miyako did nothing wrong. DP is always the answer. No comment. Alright, here's how this is going to pan out. I'm going to let this whole thing play. I'm going to explain a little bit of it. I'm going to explain the basis of Koha Mech. Because if you've seen this guy before, the last time you've seen him, or not the last time, but the time before, you can just guess how this is going to go. I'm sorry if that's spoilers, but when I watched this morning and I saw this guy, I was like, oh my fucking god, he's back. Just watch. Just watch. Java-C, so you know about him? You know about this grossness? No. You sit there and you take this bullshit. Man, I just want to play the game, man. Come on. I want to play the, come on, man. Please, I thought this was a 2-player game. Nah, you start off with a 5A, better ya. It's still mech. Have fun, let's go. It's like he actually stopped it. There's actually hope. This is the hope moment. He actually hit the Neko there. Better ya. And I think this right here is why, even after seeing this one time or ever seeing this, everybody doesn't hop on a mech Neko train. Because I really think for Neko mech to work, or C Neko mech to work, you've got to get this dream scenario right here where you make the block something and you have Neko. Okay, watch this, watch this, watch this. Ugh, surprise, motherfucker! This one right here too. Nope. So mad. So mad right now. So upset at life. You thought. And then you just got beat by a system mechanic. Oh my god. Yo, link it to a friend, man. Alright. So, just a few things about Neko Mech. I'm not going to sit here and act like I know this character. I don't know this damn character. But there's a few things that I just had to look at to make sure. And the first one is just the premise of all of this, which there's 3 things that were important to me. There's probably more when I actually sit down and look at this character, but there's 3 things that are important to me. Oh, can I link you the video? Yeah, I got you, man. My bad. Boop, right there. Alright. 3 things. One, and this is obvious, but it's one of those things to where, or to me at least, it doesn't really stand out to you until you mess with the character because it's a subtle note. But there are 2 different versions of this, right? And sure, if you're standing about here and you were to see this Neko flying at you as a projectile, you would easily notice that there's 2 different speeds. But there are 2 different speeds. Like I know I just repeated myself, but what's important to know about them. Oh, she can't punish this? One of these is actually punishable, but even with it not being punishable, you can see that one of them gives you more plus frames, which is the slower A version. Like so much that she can't do anything behind it. I think I might need another character for this. I think that's actually why, and you'll see this in a second. He changes phases. And I think this has to do with Lin, because I tested this on Lin, and I couldn't get the B version to jail. But you get 2 different amounts of frame advantage. All right, that's the basis of that. Now, the other thing that I noticed, and I didn't entirely know this, like I kind of assumed it till I messed with the character. And this guy, I guess Dogysamich, that's his name, from what you all are telling me, he does really good. He does a really good job at masking this. So you can only do this move when Neko is just like, quote unquote, in neutral. You can't do this if Neko's not in neutral. So there's a few times where he does a string and he hits Neko, like so. Fuck. And you see him start using electricity. That's one of the reasons why. So you can't just do that in string however you want to for free. because you'll run into scenarios where you do something like, and then you'll go to swing. I missed the Neko, but you'll hit the Neko, and so you're left for like a second or two where you have to come up with something to either like trick them into staying there, or just keep them from swinging at you. That's some simple notes about all of that nonsense that was going on. Not that part. The part where she threw the Neko. And then the other one, my bad for hitting my mic again. The other one that's kind of obvious, but kind of the basis of this character is just the fact that you can hit the Neko and it still turns into a hitbox. Like so. You didn't really see any of that, but that happens as well. I'm kind of curious what you linked to. Oh. Can't look down on Neko Mech. Oh, I see what you did. Let me guess, is he the only Neko Mech player? I wouldn't be too surprised. But like I said, now that I kind of sort of explained that a little bit. I mean, I know it's a really bad explanation. It's a real elementary explanation. Look at it again. Like, especially this first round. It's a confirm. Oh. What did you say? Learning to use that in neutral seems sort of hard. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, it's so easy. The way I would see it is, it's not a character for everybody. That's obvious. But it's not a character for everybody because you have to, like, develop an eye to realize that even, like, normally, or not normally, sometimes you'll wind up just joning with jump C, for example, like a mech would do. But then there's some scenarios where it's like, I actually have the spacing for this. I can throw this out here, and that's a trap now. Sure, I might not actually hit him with the Neko, but I have the mindset and the experience to know that you can't actually step up into this. Or, while a lot of people are used to just throwing a projectile out of some kind, it's having the mindset of, I can actually throw that out as a projectile. Or, can't use that one. Actually, it has to be that one. I didn't realize that. But you can't use 2C. You actually have to use jump C. Full charge jump C at that. Yeah, I learned something about this character right now. She doesn't have a hitbox when you just jump C. It has to be full charge jump C. Or 6C. Or electricity. Huh. Hey, this is a learning experience for everybody. Give me a second, I'm turning my light on because it's dark. I can't see myself. But yeah, I wouldn't go as far as to call it hard because you still have mech buttons. And she didn't have like Hime buttons, but if you're used to buttons like this, like your long range kind of pokey zoning buttons, you still to some degree can play mech, like basic mech. I'm learning about Neko mechs. My bad. My bad. I'll save you from it after we get through this again. Yeah, that has a big, I didn't mention that one, but yeah, that has clearly a bigger hitbox. You can't jump from that. But yeah, see in this scenario, like she just tagged Neko with the 2C. So no matter what, she couldn't go back in the Neko here. And it's just convenient that she tagged him trying to move. And he actually had a gap there to try something. Didn't take it. So it's like, so what could he have done through all of that? Well, for one, he sat on 200 meter. Well, he was with 200 meter at the end. He could have tried to bunker somewhere. Although, when you're looking at this, yeah, we're going through this hell one more time. When you're looking through all this stuff, like right here, not that, because that's him getting hit. But when you're looking through this, like, you have to be really careful about when you try to bunker for when stuff like this happens. And she pushes herself far enough away to where you can't actually bunker her. It's like the same thing applies for this this Coma trying to do like a 2-2-C, like when he sees a gap. Like, sure, he could 2-2-C, but he's got to be really careful about is Mech honestly in range, or did she happen to push herself out to reset with a Neko? Where was the start of that? It probably doesn't help that most people aren't going to know much about facing Neko Mech. Yeah, that's exactly why I actually wanted to sit down and look at this character, especially since I started looking at these things, or started like quote unquote analyzing. I wouldn't really say analyzing, but quote unquote analyzing. And I saw this character because I'm like, man, I'm pretty sure this is like the only Neko Mech, or the only competent Neko Mech player on the face of the earth. There's probably like 5, honestly. 2 of them are like hard arcade bots or something like that. The other one is a Japanese player who never goes to arcade and never winds up on streams. And one of them is one American guy, or like, no, he's a European who's actually really good, but he doesn't play with anybody, so he doesn't know. There's a full charge jump C with the Neko behind him. And that's the greatest bait of the ages. Because she sees this. I didn't mention the beam at all, but she actually sees this. Oh, where is it? I missed it myself. But it's right there. Like, what's he going to press standing from that range? That's honestly going to work. Maybe trying to hit jump A and mistimed it. Who knows? But he's tried everything else. He's tried most other stuff. He's tried pressing buttons, and he's had some success with pressing buttons, but not the most success in the world. So what happens if I just leave them this gap, this huge gap? He's tried to jump before. He tried to jump against 214C, this one right here. So can I just end them right here with laser beam, air unblockable? I'm pretty sure you actually can't reflect the Neko. Not the missile. I'm about to try it. I just wanted that to end real quick, because I don't know if I thought to look for that when I did the list of reflectables, but I don't think you can. We're about to find out though when I pick the right Lin. There you go. You can't do that one. Can't do that one. Actually, drop the frames a little bit. Hey man, you know what happens when you assume, right? Sometimes you're wrong. Ha 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 ha. Oh shit, it's actually really convenient that I have this. So as you see, sort of kind of through all the round one and everything, with all that shit he did, he switches to full moon. And I'm kind of like, did I try the electric one? I didn't try the electric one just based off of the premise that you can't reflect the Neko itself at any point. So I don't know why like doing that would change it. Because the Neko itself is the projectile, not like some additional property. Because it has to have the red aura around it to be a hitbox. Or you have to be doing the missiles. So yeah, we switched to full moon, right? And after seeing that again, and like thinking of all the times this dude is like raffle stomp people with C Mecho Neck, I was like, I kind of wonder why he would switch to full. Then I was like, wait, this is Lin. Lin is gonna do a lot of that, even more of this, some of this, and she's gonna be sitting here like this. And while she's sitting there like that, wait. I already switched to it. The actual 5C that reaches up, that reaches across, it'll still hit her from about this range, like it does everybody else, but you lose a little bit of the range of it, and then what you'll see what you gain. You gain a good defensive tool from this, but this is something random that I just want to point out because I saw this, and this shouldn't be the reason this guy switched characters. Or switch phases, but I just think it's funny that this works. Not that one. It is that one. You can do. I need you further away. You can do that. How do I send you away? No. Can I like throw you? Wait. I can do that. Stop moving. There you go. That's the wrong cat. Can I do another one still? No, fuck, go away. Fuck. You know, it's so hard to hold the button. There. That's a concept. It's not matchup changing at all, but that's just a funny thing that crossed my mind. But yeah. Some of this. This is one thing that's just really sad about this character, is that her mobility isn't that great. So it's really easy to just chase her down. Like, I mean, the dashes are okay, but this walk speed. Slowly but surely learning how to become a true Neko Mech master. Oh man, I'm in there. This is something else that's really good, and this is something that also might have deterred him from even considering using C Neko Mech, is the fact that Lin can quickly poke out from this range, which is the range that that this guy wound up in a few times when he was doing his Neko Mech pressure, with doing his crescent pressure. She could have held the shield. That jump C though. The slam jam. And that just takes up space on the ground. This is really good. Now we out. Fun fact about Neko Mech. I'm pretty sure this is also true on Lin. Oh, that actually reaches? Because there are some characters. Watch it only be on hit or something. It might actually be on hit. There's some time where that actually doesn't work, where it normally works with Kohamek, with FMEC. Yeah, it's just on hit. Alright, hits your crouching though. It's actually really hard to just do. There. But this has a different hitbox than FMEC. It's just a random fact. You like how both of them whiff raw air throw attempts? It's tough love. That's what it is. Jump C. Jump C with the Neko covering so many angles. I mean, you want to talk about a love-hate relationship. You just talk about Neko Mech in general. Get fuzzy. You just talk about them in general. I mean, look at this. Abuse of property, animal abuse, however you want to look at it. This is hilarious right here. She fucking snatched her own doll and stabs everybody. In this, there's nothing horribly special about this, but that's just the most disorienting thing in the world. Cause she's standing right on top of the Neko. Yeah, that reversal's pretty good. The electromagnetic Neko. The big 6C. I still have my hitbox viewer out. I can look to see if that's invincible all the way through. I need to. Surprise. I mean, look at this, man. Blatant disregard. Invincibility frames for days. Yeah. The poor Neko. Man, you still got to be careful from that range. Yeah, that's the end of our hero, though. Like I get that maybe C isn't the best idea ever, and obviously he's been playing the character more than me. He knows how the character works, but kind of wonder why he didn't try it. That's just me wondering about a character that's really interesting that I have no actual information about. This is actually nuts to me. And this is nuts only because let me find it. It's, where are they? Not that one. That one. It wasn't that. It's like, hey, she actually just jumped at me. Even though it was really early. Don't ask me how she got in that corner. She didn't push her all the way in the corner. That's the honest answer. It's just more fun if I act surprised. I mean, you got some pretty good range on you. I don't know why you want to jump into ice shards. And then the tech punish. This is actually really good on the Lynn's part, because she puts the Neko out here. She puts the cat out here, right? And standard procedure, or one of the more common things. I have to switch the dummy to do this. I have to actually turn the dummy on to do this. One of the more common things to do when you put a cat out, I have to remember which one I do after that, is to teleport in front of it so you can protect it and so that it protects you. Alright? And from the space she does that, she can't actually do that because White Lynn's right here. And she looks for it. Like, she crouches for a second and looks for it. Yeah, okay, it wasn't as long as I thought. But she crouched for it, looking for it, right? She's going to light that up with 2A. So, in anticipation of that, Lynn just jumped on top of her in that one moment of hesitation that there is. She doesn't get in, but it's good to know that they both understand that there are more ways to go about the situation. And because White Lynn didn't knock her away, didn't get a hit, and didn't actually have time to move away, now she still actually has to deal with this damn cat. Why she didn't move away after the tech? Because she still couldn't jump away for free. 5C. Go C. Yeah, that shield bunker. Only because she had heat was it kind of questionable. Well, the way she did it, that is. Nah, you're not diving on anybody. You're throwing all the bunkers out. And we will not be held down. That's good spacing. Right here. Footsies, right? That's actually in Maj's footsie handbook right there. You throw out a bait button first to get a reaction, and then you punish it. Although, in all seriousness, she could have possibly did just committed to 2A 5B, and it worked out in that. It just worked out like that as well. But if you want to look at what literally happened, this is footsies right here with punishment. Now put it back. Yo, roll back. Don't ask me what the purpose of like the brown cat was. It's just supposed to be like the third member of the squad. It worked out though. Are they? No. She still has a DP. With all the fun that's going on, White Lynn still has a DP. And she tried. This is another one of those taking a read on movement scenarios that ended horribly for this White Lynn. Because after she gets this, she reads that the Lynn is going to come down with a jump C. And so she's going to do a TK air shard, right? She 50-50'd wrong, Or I'd say 50-50. It's not honestly a 50-50, but she guessed wrong. The Lin wanted to go behind her with jump 2C. Now don't move. That was good not to tech, because she wasn't getting away from that. And it dropped for the edge. She wanted to throw some more footsies on there, but she didn't let it go. When you space too well for your own good. Because I don't think that reaches from there. Granted, yeah, she's clearly activating heat. It was still a wrong guess. But I don't think that command throw. Because I think that's her command throw. Maybe. Oh, she did A. Okay. Maybe. Maybe. I'm surprised it has this much range, though. That's a regular throw. That's me still not doing a half circle. Hey. I didn't know she actually had magnet hands. Huh. The more you know. More of that presence of mind about space control tools to come down and block this Neko. I was about to say something really dumb. I was like, you know, she should have EX guarded it. Wait, she's in half moon. The fuck happened to Loli Lens? She's like Maho Shoujo, man. Magical powers and everything. She's throwing orbs and everything out, orbs of light, and you're complaining about the fact that she can reach like 3 character lengths away. Did you really think of that? Shoryuken. And yeah. It's kind of sloppy. It was kind of messy. But we made it through it. We got through the end of the big 1 second. And I don't even get to do the yay thing at the end because I don't know what team won. Like player 1 team. Yay. Whatever. But yeah, I just wanted to do that.